There has been a lot of talk about the current NASCAR Superspeedway package with the next gen car after the latest Talladega race on Sunday. Uh, there's two different sides to this. There's a side that says, if you don't want four wide racing, then go back to your snakes. There's the other side that then says stuff about fuel saving, not going full out, yada yada yada. Uh, Now, I have a problem with the current NASCAR Superspeedway package, but I don't think that either side addresses my issue with it. And throughout this video, I'm not going to make any mention of running half throttle, running 3-4 seconds off the pace to save fuel. I'm not going to even mention that. I'm going to mention a simple flaw and just a simple nuisance that I have with how this next gen car races at super speedways and how I think it actually hurts having cars so close and bunched up together for the super speedway product. So let's start. I'm showing you right now a picture of the four wide, right? It optically looks amazing. It makes for beautiful pictures. It makes for a great story. It makes for great clips. It makes for great promotions. It makes for eye-catching content for people to catch and be like, I'm going to watch NASCAR next week, or I'm going to watch NASCAR whenever, right? Whenever I can. It makes for good stuff like that. It's optically, visually amazing. But it adds nothing when you look at how it races during the race. Let's take, for example, this screenshot from the race. This is lap number 43, 18 laps to go in stage 1. This is about the first time the pack got entirely four wide. This is basically the first time Daniel Hemric got pushed up by Denny Hamlin to be outside of Chastain, Larson, Bowman. This is the first time those four cars are four wide for the lead, which has made this whole pack four wide. So keep in mind, Hemric, Chastain, Larson, Bowman. Okay, those are the four guys in play. Also keep in mind the guys behind those four. Justin Haley's behind Alex Bowman. Austin Cindric is behind Kyle Larson. Ty Gibbs is behind Ross Chastain. Denny Hamlin is behind Daniel Hemric. Move on to the next picture, which is 2 laps later with 16 to go in stage 1 on lap number 45. This is one I think only 2 times when they were this type of four wide where someone got clear of the four wide out in front. This is when Ross Chastain got clear in the one car from that third lane. But still right behind him, Bowman, Larson, Hemric are still there. Also behind, those guys, you have Gibbs, who was behind Chastain. You have Haley on the bottom, Cindric in the middle. All the way up top is Denny Hamlin, behind their respective people that they were behind. Eventually, the pack swallows up Ross Chastain. He can't keep the lead. He falls back into the same line he was in the third lane. So we go to lap number 48. We are back to four wide racing throughout the entire pack. Still the same four people. Right? This is 5 laps later from when it started. It's the same four people. Hemric, Chastain, Larson, Bowman. People behind them. Haley, Cindric, Gibbs, Hamlin. Same four people. It's the same order, right? Chastain got cleared once. He got put back in four wide. Nothing changed at all. And it stayed like this all the way up until about 10 laps to go in stage number 1 around lap 50, lap 51. When cars finally started to get clear. And once this, this is around the time 9 laps to go in the stage when drivers started to pick up the pace, right? After this lap, this is the last instance of four wide you see in this stage. It never happens again, right? The pack starts to pick up the pace. Fourth lane dies out, never to be seen again in the stage. But look at the 3 guys that got clear. Chastain, Gibbs, Larson. Right? Behind that, Hemric, Hamlin, Cindric, and Bowman are the next guys. It is the same people. I've not mentioned anyone different so far. Those 8 people are the 8 people that I keep mentioning. I've not mentioned anyone different at all. It is the same 8 drivers at the front of the field, from the start of the four wide to the end of the four wide. That is 7, 8, 9 laps like this. The same people are out in front leading because everyone is bunched up and no one can go anywhere, right? I think an even better example of this is stage 3. They didn't get four wide throughout the whole field. They got four wide at points, but I want to focus on the 3 wide, right? Here we are, 48 laps to go in the race, lap 141. Leading the 3 lanes, AJ Allmendinger on the inside, Joey Logano in the middle, Austin Cindric on the outside. AJ's pusher is Chase Briscoe. Joey's pusher is Todd Gilliland. Austin's pusher is another Austin Dillon. Also watch the bottom in the middle lanes, right? In the middle behind Joey and Gilliland is Stenhouse, Elliott, Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, all the way back. On the inside behind AJ and Briscoe, right? It's going to be the same people the next picture. This is with 22 laps to go on lap 167. That is over 25 laps later. Over 25 laps later. The same 3 people are leading those 3 lanes. Cindric, Joey, AJ. Their pushers are the same. The only difference between the 2 pictures are the guys on the outside. Look on the inside. It's the same people. Right behind AJ, behind Briscoe, it is Buescher, it is Bubba. You can see that clearly from that picture. William Byron is also on the inside down there. In the middle, it is Stenhouse, it is Elliott, it is Busch, it is Larson. The only difference is third lane on back on the outside because they got 4 wide, and then the fourth lane kind of broke up and it formed the third and the fourth line into 1. Otherwise, the top 6 have stayed the same for 25 laps. The inside and the middle rows have stayed the same for 25 laps. There is no shuffling of any sort that happens in these Superspeedway races because everyone is stalemated. No one can move anywhere. No lane can get an advantage. Superspeedway racing works best when someone can get a burst of momentum to get their line clear. And then other lanes, people start abandoning that lane and it moves rows up and it starts a shuffle effect. People can move lanes. People can, clear, move down. The front of the field starts to spread out a little bit. Not spread out as in old Daytona or old Talladega, but spread out to just get some distance between themselves and the pack, so that other guys can start leading lanes to get up to them. If it stays like this for 25 laps, the same 6 people out in front, nothing is happening. Those 25 laps basically meant nothing to the race. Nothing has happened, right? The only thing that happened was the third and the fourth lane became 1 lane to then kind of shuffle that up a little bit. Otherwise, nothing has changed. Everyone is riding in line, nowhere to go because they're stuck. There is nowhere to go. It is 3 lanes of traffic where no one can get an advantage. What can you do in that scenario? And then we go down to the time where they're running full throttle with 6 laps to go. It's a 2x2 stalemate. If this race stays green, tell me who else is going to win this race other than Ricky Stenhouse, Austin Cindric, or Chase Elliott. Because I don't see any way one of those 3 cars does not win this race if the race goes green all the way to the checkered flag. If you're on the inside, you are stuck. You are going nowhere, right? You're not pushing Cindric out front to get yourself clear. You are stuck there on the inside behind him. The only reason someone could maybe make a move is Chase Elliott entering into the trial on the last lap could make a run and get to the outside of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and maybe somehow, beat Cindric to the checkered flag. But otherwise, we are a 2x2 stalemate. Look back at all these Talladega next-gen races, right? Look back at the first one, the 2022 spring. Not really much happened there. Look at 2022 fall. It was a 2x2 lane. Look at the spring race in 2023. A lot of 2x2 lanes, a lot of crashing. Look at the 2023 fall race. It was just a 2x2 lane all the way for that last run. Look at the spring race. It was a 2x2 lane until people started fanning out off turn number 4. And then look at this one. 2x2, gridlock, just nowhere to go because the third lane cannot work with this race car at full speed. And even if it did work, right, even if there were 3 lanes and the whole field was 3 wide, then what? Where are you going to go if no one can get the advantage? Right? And you may be saying, you're just complaining because it's the next-gen car. Well, I'll complain about a 2015 race and something that gets looked back on fondly by people, something that people share, something that people go, this was amazing when it happened, the 2015 Daytona 500 when they got 3x3 and no one can go anywhere. Right? With 10 laps to go, about 10 laps to go, Joey Logano gets to the outside of Jimmy Johnson, Denny Hamlin, and the whole field is 3 wide, 3x3 by 3x3. and no one can go anywhere. And that is not a good product, right? We fast forward to a few laps later, about 7, 8 laps to go. Joey Logano has gotten clear of the pack, and then he starts trying to, block all the lanes. So he's out front, but the whole pack is still 3 by 3 behind him. No one can go anywhere. Let's focus in on my favorite driver at the time, Dale Earnhardt Jr., because he had one of the better cars that race, but when the pack is 3 by 3, he's on the outside row in whatever lane. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's in the 6th lane, right? He is stuck back anywhere from 18th to 20th this entire run. He's not been able to move anywhere. He's just been stuck 3 wide, nowhere to go because no lane can get an advantage. Fortunately for him and a lot of other guys, this is not really ever talked about. With 6 laps to go, coming to 5 laps to go, Allgaier has a big moment in turns 3 and 4, nearly wrecks, and it spreads the field out. It creates a big gap for drivers to move into finally, and Junior takes advantage of that. So he has been stuck 18th, 19th, 20th for the past 5, 10 laps, right? He's just been stuck back there, nowhere to go. He's able to move because the pack starts spreading out. Not only, did Allgaier's issue spread the pack out, but the front of the field had started to finally spread out, right? Joey was clear, and then Hamlin got clear, Truex got clear, Jimmy got clear, they're 3 wide. So the front of the field was starting to spread out, and it was allowing drivers to make moves. And then Dale Jr., within 2 laps, goes from stuck back around 20th place to side by side with Casey Kane for 7th, and was still charging forward when the caution came out for Allgaier's crash. This shows you need separation in cars. You need the field to not be locked, a gridlock, right? You need something, because while everyone looks at the 500, visually that 3 wide is better. The best part of that run before the green-white checkered was actually with 5 to go all the way up to 3 to go, right? Those 2 laps were better than anything that happened when they were 3 by 3 by 3, because no one could go anywhere when they were 3 by 3 by 3. But when Allgaier had his issues, it allowed drivers to start making moves. The front of the field spread out as well. And then those 2 laps, people start dicing everywhere. Top, bottom, middle, whatever. They start going wherever they can, wherever there's an opening, wherever there's a hole, right? And it allows someone like Dale Jr. to gain about 13 spots in 2 laps, right? If that were the next-gen car, right, they would, even if they were 3 wide, Dale Jr. is not going anywhere because everyone is 3 wide together. No one's gaining the advantage out in front. If they were 2 wide, he's not making those moves because those moves don't work. So when we look at this 4 wide racing and the 3 wide racing that the next gen produces at some times during the race, otherwise the 2x2, it's all the same, right? It can be a single file train. It could be this 4 wide thing. Nothing is really happening besides the optics and the visual of it, right? And here's the thing. When they got single file, sometimes it was bad because sometimes they never broke the single file. But if they got single file and then people started making moves, that's actually a benefit. Because when everyone's in line single file and someone makes a move out, say they're 15th place and they make a move out, guess what? 15th place is going to draw other people to the inside, and then you're going to have movement through the field. That is how you get actual movement through the field, is getting single file or double file. And then, people making different lanes or people moving out of lane to make their own lane work. That is what is the best part of Superspeedway racing, is when drivers can do that, when drivers can make their own moves, make their own lanes, and try and move through the field and kind of slice and dice. But when you're 4x4, 3x3 with the next gen car, and no one out front can gain the advantage, that keeps everyone stalemated, deadlocked behind them for the entire run. Not only did we see it with the 4 wide, where there was absolutely nowhere to go, we saw it with the 3 wide in Stage 3, where Cindric, Joey, and AJ led the entire way up to pit stops from when they got 3 wide, and no one could gain the advantage. That's my rant on current day NASCAR Superspeedway racing. Thanks for watching if you got this far. Don't kill me if you don't agree with the with my reasoning. This is, I don't watch Superspeedway racing just to be like, oh wow, the cars are close together. I know for some people it's like they want to watch racing where cars are close together and, as many cars packed together as possible. That's what makes good racing, as close as they can be. But I watch racing just to, see people make moves, people make passes, and you can't really do that in the next gen car. It just doesn't work that way. So that's my grievances with the current day NASCAR Superspeedway package. Uh, I just felt like I wanted to make the video because I feel like a lot of people were just talking about fuel saving as the big issue. Is like, oh, they're only 3-4 wide because they're fuel saving, and yeah, that's true. They're only that way because they are fuel saving. That's not the issue though. The issue is that no one can go anywhere when everyone's stalemated like that. So just figure I'd make that. Thanks everyone for watching. If you got this far, and I'll see you guys for the next one.